I see a hole from the back and a hole from the front. He was shot in his head. Yeah. Just cut it off. Do what you gotta do. Is he okay? Is there a pulse? No! No! No!
Pedro!
I thought you hit a major artery. You'll be fine.
Police arrived at this house in Homestead, Florida, after a call reported that someone had been shot. Officer Nicholson was the first on scene and would come across 27-year-old Daisy Link, who was at the front of the property describing the injury to the victim. An investigation would be launched, and an unbelievable story of infidelity, jail pregnancy, and pure evil would slowly come to light. In the early hours of the morning of Saturday, June 25, 2022, this 911 call would be placed to the Homestead Police Department.
Yeah, I don't know why I just hear a guy screaming and loud. Just go everywhere.
Okay, down on line with you. Let me check the phone to see where you are.
Okay.
Do you know what happened to him?
I have no idea.
Down on line with me. Is he awake and breathing?
Yes.
Do you know what part of his body he's injured or?
I think it's the right hand.
Down on line with you. Does he have a clean dry cloth or a towel applied pressure to where he's bleeding from?
It's okay.
Body camera footage would capture the chaotic scene that police would soon find. Daisy Link is the woman police first encounter on the body camera footage. And on the ground is her husband of 9 years, Pedro Jiminez, the father to 2 of her children.
Arrival on 214 on 327, all units correct. 47, myself, 5441 room.
Don't move! Do not move!
Units arrival at 327, all units correct.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I see a hole from the back and a hole from the front. He was shot in his head. I took off his shirt.
Related to you?
No, he's actually my husband.
Oh, okay. Where is it at?
Right here.
At first appearance, she looked as though she had been waiting in her car for police to arrive. A trail of blood was discovered leading to where the man was found, indicating that he likely ran away from his attacker while injured. This blood trail would extend from near the front door of Daisy Link's residence, which was only a short distance away, all the way to a back alley behind the property. It wasn't long after police arrived that Pedro began to show no signs of a pulse, and police would begin CPR.
Is he okay? Is there a pulse? No! No! No!
Sadly, Pedro passed away at the scene from the single gunshot to the leg. Police would begin securing the scene as this had now become a homicide investigation. According to Daisy, she had gone out, and when she came home, she couldn't find Pedro anywhere. So she went looking for him, finding him in the alleyway behind the house.
You hear me? Hey, kill my overheads.
Fire that I'm seeing is going to be a 45. Yes, all fires are right. It's going to be a 45 at 338 on your square. And morning, looking for a your end. Yes, I'm arrival. Arrival, 338.
What? Right there above my headrest. Passenger side. Hey, I think he... Hey, we'll start here, I guess, roping this up.
What are you loading this number?
I am.
439.
I'm just roping up this whole area, Chevy. Yeah, we're gonna probably have to go out to the road.
If we could.
We'll walk back that way. See.
Yeah, just go off over here.
We'll have to put a car on that end, LT. I am.
Do we have any basics?
No, I don't know nothing. She said he left out. He hadn't come home, so she went looking for him. She found him in the alleyway, and she seen that he had the in and out in the thigh, right thigh.
Police would begin searching the scene for any sign of bullet casings or any other evidence that might help identify the attacker.
I was at 17 and 14, and I heard like a pop, and I started driving this way. But I didn't hear, like it sounded more like a firework. So I started driving down 14, and then that's when they gave me the call. You got more this way? Yeah, we got blood there. LT, you walk. Hey, watch. Chevy, just don't step on it. Yeah.
76, 7 on Ray 46. Attack shows on a 2004 grade 4 to Edina Lopez Perez to Cage of 12.
We need to take this off.
14th Street.
All this.
Looks like you got out of the passenger.
Somebody must have been driving, bro, if he was in the passenger.
Let's walk off the street.
Hey, give me, hey, somebody got a car?
Hey,
23.
Grab the car. Ma'am, rescue's out with him, ma'am.
423. 423, yes, you're right. I see a marked unit. We're gonna need unit in front of 58 over.
Yeah. Yeah, complete blockage of the street. Yeah. Go. Yeah, it wasn't even that long ago, bro. I heard, I was at 17 and 14, and I heard a pop, so I started driving down, and then they gave me the call. Yo. What? Hey, bro, I'm gonna use your fence. Appreciate you. Everywhere's crazy.
What's the KPH? They said they found the possible scene. Verifying at 1289 Northwest 14th Street in the driveway. 2011 reference. 2011 According to the blood trail, he seems to be walking around in circles, so we're blocking off the entire street.
I'll do that for you. You need it more west, or is that fine? No, that's good there.
That's good, so. Yeah, I'm going to 3 for me. 2011 keep spotted 3. Yes, sir.
Try to get his info.
Yeah. Hey, Chevy.
Let's get some rope
Chevy.
over here too. We need rope here too.
He's got it.
There's a whole front over
Hey, Chevy, you got a whip it on? I don't know, ma'am. He's out with rescue. Give me a second.
you please
Hey,
check
can you
and
get her info and then his info from her?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, this rope's gonna have to come all the way through here.
We're just gonna rope. We've roped off the whole road.
No, but I'm saying because these houses right here.
Yeah, so we'll shut down the whole front of them.
Okay.
And then also in the back. Somebody else got tape? Is their car close?
My car's all the way.
Yeah, rope off this backside for now till we figure out what we got.
I'll get more rope.
All right. In the alley, where he's at now. Huh? Possibly. I don't know. It's hard to tell. They're getting his info and her info.
A substantial amount of blood was located on this red car right next to the alleyway, indicating that Pedro may have been trying to drive away from his attacker. He would be found down the alleyway to the right of the vehicle, meaning he may have been stopped from getting in the vehicle and stumbled along until he finally collapsed. Further along the path, the gray Chevy was located that Daisy had been seen getting out of when police arrived. Officers would again make remarks about the extensive blood evidence at the scene.
You can also 433,
In the alleyway.
433, are you in the alleyway? Yes, ma'am. 39.
I'm coming to her. She didn't fire and give us a... Okay.
Take him out of this car.
Okay.
There's blood on the driver's seat. Like if she was sitting there.
Yo,
Blood right here, bro.
there's blood everywhere, bro. We're gonna block off this whole, just block off this whole alleyway, bro.
Yeah, there's a big puddle right there.
Yeah, he's been all over, bro.
Let's see if we can do a call off for day shift and see if we can get some units to come in early.
While conducting a search around the residence, police were able to locate a handgun that had been discarded behind a tree in the front yard of Daisy Link's house. A shell casing was also located near the gun's location, close to the front door of Daisy's residence. The scene told a story, and that story was that Pedro was confronted in the front yard, where he was shot from behind in the leg, before he ran away and collapsed in the alleyway behind the house. At this early stage, there were no suspects, but investigators noticed that a Ring doorbell camera was facing towards where the event took place. Police were able to gain access to the footage, and what they would find left them absolutely shocked. You can hear the gunshot, followed shortly after with Daisy making the claim, "Not like I hit a major artery, you'll be fine," as she strolls past the camera holding the handgun. This chilling video evidence quickly cleared up the circumstances around the shooting, immediately making Daisy the prime suspect. Police now had to ask why. Initially, Daisy claimed that she had returned home and couldn't find Pedro, so she went looking for him and found him in the alleyway. The Ring camera footage would completely contradict her story, as it appeared to show her as the shooter. Daisy would then call 911, pretending not to know who he was, despite being married to him for 9 years. Not long after police had first arrived on scene, a panic-stricken Daisy can be seen on video asking Pedro, "What happened?"
Pedro, what the happened?
Pedro.
Daisy Link would be arrested and charged with second-degree murder. During police interviews, she would claim that she had acted in self-defense. Her side of the story was that Pedro had severely beaten her 5 days prior to the shooting, including bludgeoning her with the same pistol she fired, and she in turn used that weapon on him as she was fearful for her life. As police continued to question her, her story would begin to unravel. In the weeks leading up to the shooting, Pedro had become aware that Daisy was seeing other men, and it was alleged that Daisy was regularly sending these men revealing pictures of herself. Pedro Jiminez worked as a trucker and was away for periods of time. And when he was away, this is when Daisy had been meeting other people. On the night of the shooting, he had confronted her about it. And just before the shot rang out, she had admitted to sleeping with other people. He told her at this point that you are sleeping outside. And as he was about to lock the door, that's when Daisy would produce the gun. As the argument became heated, Pedro walked outside the house and was quoted as saying, do it. I want to die. I gave you everything." Daisy would aim the gun at Pedro, who was walking away with his back to her, and she would pull the trigger, striking him in the heel, which would exit the heel and then enter his leg. She was then remanded in custody at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center while the case was ongoing. Daisy would eventually see a judge for an Arthur hearing a little over a year after the shooting on September 7, 2023, with her hope to be released on house arrest. An Arthur hearing is a mini-trial where the defense and prosecution present arguments. However, unlike a traditional trial, there is no jury, only a judge determines the outcome. This hearing often represents the defendant's only opportunity to secure release while awaiting trial, making the process highly significant. When her request for house arrest was denied, she was absolutely furious. She then decided to enact a plan that she thought would get her out of jail. Daisy conspired with another inmate named Juan de Paz to get pregnant while in jail, believing that if she was going to have a child, that authorities would have to let her out. The problem was, she was in solitary confinement at the time. The pair came up with a plan using saran wrap, pens, and bedding materials to transport semen through the prison vents from De Paz's cell into Daisy Link's cell. It was common for him to transport this several times per day, where she would then administer it in the hopes of getting pregnant.
Being in isolation for so long, you begin to spend hours and hours talking to this person, you know, to the point where it's almost as if you're in the same room with them.
I always really wanted to have a baby, and I'm not going to get to do that for a really long time. So if I had to choose somebody, you know, it would be you. And she was like, yeah, we could do that. I'm not going to lie, it's going to go down in history.
I don't know what my fate is. You kind of don't know what yours. If we're going to go out, might as well just go out with a bang, you know? If it works, it works. But it definitely did.
I told her a way that one of my friends had showed me through the vent, because the vent is like an L shape, really. It drops right into my vent. From her room, she could throw a pen into the vent, and it'll land right into my vent.
We had figured out a way to drop the line. It was a line that we had established out of like bedding material. I
put the semen in saran wrap every day, like 5 times a day for like a month straight.
He would kind of like roll it up almost like a cigarette, and he would attach it to the line that we had in the vent, and I would pull it through.
Getting pregnant in jail without ever touching another inmate caused a major overview of the prison's procedures. Daisy told her mother at a prison visit that she's pregnant and that Juan is the father. She added that she planned to get pregnant because she was denied bond at the Arthur hearing and was further planning to sue the jail. Her pregnancy was confirmed via a thorough medical exam on Christmas Day 2023. The little girl was born 6 months later in June 2024 and was released into the custody of Juan de Paz's mother. De Paz himself is accused of murder, and if convicted, will likely never see life outside of a prison cell again. Daisy Link would stand trial for the murder of her husband Pedro Jiminez on October 8, 2025. The prosecution and defense would give their opening statements.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the early morning hours, Saturday, June 25th, 2022, while most of Homestead was asleep, a single gunshot echoed through a quiet neighborhood. One shot. That's all it took. That's all it took to end a man's life. one pull of the trigger, and a father, a partner, a human being, was left bleeding in an alleyway while the person he shared a home with stood just steps away. So, in a fit of rage, she pulled out the gun, pointed it at the victim, and the facts will show that when the defendant pointed the gun at Mr. Jiminez, he had turned around and was running away in fear of Miss Link. The defendant then pulls the trigger and fires one shot. And the surveillance you see this week, it's going to confirm that. It's going to confirm that the victim was running away. You're going to hear the 911 calls. You're going to get to see the body on camera. And on that body on camera, you do see Mr. Jiminez take his last breath.
5 days before Mr. Jimenez's death, he showed up unannounced to Daisy Link's home. And to be clear, the evidence will show it was her home. He didn't live there anymore. He was removed from the lease. The locks were changed. He was not allowed in there unless he was specifically invited. And yes, he would be invited because they had kids together, and Miss Link was gracious enough to let him see those kids, even though he didn't have a right to be with them because he lost his parental rights to those kids. Now, he showed up unannounced 5 days before, and Miss Link had some guests in her home. She was in her home with her 2 kids, and she had her cousin with her cousin whose name is David, and he had his kids with him too. Mr. Jiminez showed up unannounced, and immediately he accused Miss Link of cheating on him, even though they weren't together anymore, cheating on him with this man who he saw in her house. Mr. Jiminez was informed, hey, I'm not cheating, that's my cousin, and I'm not sleeping with my cousin. He's just here because he's family. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Mr. Jiminez did not accept that explanation, and he physically attacked the cousin David, and he physically attacked Miss Link. Now, when I say physically attacked, I'm not talking about a love tap. I mean, he grabbed her, he took a firearm, and he pistol whipped her with this firearm. He essentially split her head wide open. He left multiple lacerations on her head, and that caused spilling of a lot of blood. This blood's already dry, but you can imagine how much blood that was. He caused her to lose consciousness. I'm not just saying this, he very easily could have killed her. And he did it in front of his 2 kids. And he didn't stop until his 7-year-old son said, Bobby, please stop. Bobby, please stop. Immediately before he got shot, he told Miss Link in a guttural, visceral scream, I want to die. I'm ready to die. So she asked him to leave. She did everything she could to get him to leave. She did everything she could to get away from this man who, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to trample on anybody's grave, but the evidence will show this man was out of control. He was unhinged and he was dangerous. I don't care what you do. I'm ready to die. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to do what I want. And that's when she fired. And she wasn't even firing trying to hurt him. She wasn't firing trying to kill him. She shot at the floor. And just so happens that this bullet, and this is going to be the strangest one-shot killing that you'll ever see. This bullet went up through his heel, and somehow it exited his foot and then went into his leg, and somehow that ended up killing him. So this was an extremely unusual trajectory from a bullet that you will see. So clearly she didn't intend to kill him, even though, and I will submit to you, the evidence will show she had every right and she was completely justified in using deadly force at that moment.
Forensic evidence technicians were called to the stand and confirmed that the evidence showed Pedro was shot from behind from a distance of approximately 10 feet. They would present the blood trail evidence that showed that Pedro had run away from Daisy where he collapsed in the alleyway. The body camera footage was shown in court, which caused Daisy to break down in tears. Eventually, Daisy Link would be called to the stand, where her defense lawyer would ask her questions, and she appeared to answer them with little to no emotion.
The first time he began, he was hysterical, telling me how I betrayed him, how he gave me everything. I threw 9 years down the drain, and he again tried to, as I denied it again. Clearly he had his facts in order, he knew, but I wasn't.
Hold on. Remember when your objection was paused?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so overruled, did you continue answering?
Yeah. Clearly he knew, but I just wasn't at that stage yet to admit, that I had moved on. So at that point, because I kept denying it, he got angry again, and I had pulled the gun out on him.
So he's upset because he suspects that you're with another man or seeing another man, right?
Yes.
Okay. You said that he was very agitated?
Yes.
Okay. So he kept pressing the issue, and then what, if anything, does he do at this moment?
At that point, he grabbed me again, and this time I had the gun in close range.
What did you do?
I pointed it at him.
And what did you say?
To leave.
Did he?
He ran.
He ran away?
He ran away. He said, "You fucking bitch, I gave you everything. I gave you fucking everything." And then from there, he charged at me. He grabbed me by my hair. He threw me to the floor.
Now, when he threw you to the floor and grabbed you by your hair, did you still had those wounds, right?
Yeah, I could already feel right then and there that they ripped open.
Okay. He
So
threw you to the floor.
he threw me to the floor.
After he throws you to the floor, what do you do?
I grabbed the gun from the slab.
Okay, and what did you do once you got the gun?
I pointed at him and I told him, leave already.
Did he?
He told me that he was gonna lock me out of the house and that I was gonna sleep outside. When I began to walk towards him and I said, "No, you're not, you're gonna leave," he said, "I don't give a fuck, bitch, I'm ready to die, you could kill me." And he began to run towards the house.
And what did you do when you see him running towards the house to lock you out?
I took the shot.
Now, we know that you didn't tell them, you weren't completely candid with them at first, with the police, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to us why you didn't just tell them everything from the get-go and why it took a little while before you could get to that?
They would have taken my kids.
Daisy's sister, Crystal Barreto, would take the stand to give evidence in the trial, supporting the self-defense claim of Daisy. She made a statement to police that if Pedro had been shot, Daisy did it, seemingly knowing she harbored feelings of violence toward him. However, when on the stand and questioned by the prosecution, she couldn't quite seem to get her story straight.
So you were asked on direct examination about the statement you made to police, and I don't want to misquote you. So you mentioned that you never told police anything about if Pedro is dead, Daisy must have shot him.
Correct.
You said you never told police that.
No, they asked me if I recall telling them that, and I told them, no, I did not recall saying that.
I'm sorry, Ms. Barreto, so I want to get this clear. On direct examination, when the defense attorney asked you, do you remember telling the police if Pedro was dead, Daisy must have shot him? You said, I never told police that. Did I misquote you?
Are you talking about when he did my deposition?
No, I'm talking about right now when he was asking you the question.
Correct.
That's what you said?
Right.
You remember giving a deposition?
I do.
The state was there?
Yes.
The defense attorney was there? A court reporter was there?
Yep.
And they were typing everything you said?
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And you swore to tell the truth, right?
Yes, ma'am.
the whole truth?
Yes.
And nothing but the truth? Just like you're doing here today?
Just like I'm doing here right now.
Now directing court, counsel, and witness to Ms. Barreto's deposition, page 28, starting at lines 22. Question. Permission to approach the witness, Judge? I'm going to start here. Question. Do you remember saying that if he, meaning Pedro, is dead, that Daisy must have shot him? Answer. No, I don't remember saying that. Is that right?
Yes.
But today, you remember 110% you didn't say it.
Right.
So is it that you don't remember or you didn't say it, Ms. Barreto?
Well, the question was, did I remember when he asked me? And I said, no, I don't remember.
No, the question was, did you make the statement? And you said you didn't. So my question is, did you not make the statement or is that you don't remember?
But I think you just read me the question and it said, do you remember saying that? And I said, I do not remember saying that.
Absolutely. So Ms. Barreto, I'm going to ask you again. Is it that you did not make the statement for sure? Or is it that you don't remember making that statement?
I did not make the statement 100% for sure. Unless I was a psychic, then I would have made the statement. But I'm not a psychic.
The defense would claim that a police sergeant had lost over a month's worth of security footage related to the case. It was their view that this footage was essential to proving Daisy's claims of self-defense and would show the acts that Pedro had allegedly committed on her. They believed it was a conspiracy, and the state was keeping evidence from them. However, the sergeant would explain exactly what happened.
What, if anything, did you do after arriving on scene?
Once they allowed me to access the DVR, that's exactly what I did. I went straight to the DVR and I started working on trying to get the export.
Okay. Did the homeowner give you consent, or did you have to get a warrant to get that DVR?
I would have to look at my...
Please.
So it looks like it was verbal.
Verbal consent.
Verbal consent.
Okay. Now, can you explain to the members of the jury what DVR system Mr. Cisneros had?
So he had a Shield DVR, which is it's a regular CCTV system. It's not cloud-based, it's not MVR. There is no client, anything like that. It was just a basic DVR system. Normally with that system, you would go to their main menu and you would either look for the backup or the export option of the system. So the route that we were going to take that day was USB, which would be the native export.
Did it have a USB port that you could plug in to download?
Yes.
Were you able to download it on scene?
No.
Why not?
For whatever reason, when I went, the dates were available and the system actually went back to April. However, when I went to go back to the times to actually export the times, for whatever reason, the times were not available.
Now, were you able to confirm at the time before you were trying to retrieve that video that the DVR itself was in working order?
The DVR was working, yeah.
Now, when you said that you were unable to download it via a USB, what, if anything, did you do next?
Once I wasn't able to export, I let the detectives on scene know. And at that point, I believe they received consent from the owner to take the DVR for further examination.
Did you take possession of that DVR?
I did.
And where'd you go with it?
Once I get the DVR, I take it back to the office.
And what did you do at the office with that DVR?
At the office, I plug it into DVR Examiner, and at that point I attempted to conduct DVR Examiner on it, and for whatever reason, the actual hard drive was not scanning. It wasn't even allowing me to get to the point where I could export, or even request to export.
Can you explain a little bit more what that means?
So I would plug it in to DVR Examiner. I would scan the DVR to actually pick up the hard drive, but it wasn't picking up the hard drive at all.
Was there any evidence of any kind of tampering when you were doing that?
No.
Why not?
Because I couldn't even get to the hard drive.
Okay. So the fact that you couldn't get to the hard drive was evidence itself that there was no tampering?
To me, evidence enough that the actual hard drive was damaged or somehow corrupt, because I was never even able to enter into it. I was never even able to get into it enough to do anything.
Okay. Did you purposely delete any video in this case?
No.
Is there any evidence that anyone purposely depleted any kind of video?
No.
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled. You can answer.
No.
Okay, I have no further questions, Your Honor.
The trial would last for 6 days, after which the jury would be sent to deliberate and ultimately provide their verdict. The defense's case hinged on the argument that this was self-defense, and that Daisy Link feared for her life, leading to her using deadly force. Prosecutors rebuked that claim, pointing out that Pedro was shot from behind, and citing the horrific way that Daisy had mocked him in the ring footage after shooting him. The jury would return after only 2 hours of deliberation, and Judge Lodi Jean would deliver the verdict.
The State of Florida versus Daisy Link, case number F2211523. Verdict, we the jury in Miami-Dade County, Florida, find the defendant, Daisy Link, as to count 1, second-degree murder, guilty of second-degree murder. If you find the defendant guilty of second-degree murder, you must answer each of the following questions. Number 1, did the defendant actually possess a firearm during the commission of the crime? Yes. Number 2, did the defendant discharge a firearm during the commission of the crime? Yes. 3, did the defendant discharge a firearm causing death during the commission of the crime? Yes. So say we all, the 16th day of October 2025, signed by the full.
Daisy Link is due to attend a pre-sentencing hearing on November 21st, 2025, where the defense and prosecution will put in their recommendations for prison time to serve. It's likely that her sentencing hearing, where she'll learn how long she'll spend in prison, will happen sometime in early 2026. Her sister would take to Facebook to voice her disapproval of the verdict handed down to Daisy. So what's your take on this case? Is Daisy guilty of murder, or was she acting in self-defense? Let us know in the comments below. All we know for sure is that a man's life was tragically lost due to a single gunshot wound that was likely a 1 in a million shot, and a family is now without their brother, son, and father.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Mike and I've been your narrator for today's video. If you want to check out some of our other videos here at Worst Cases, you can find them on screen right now. And if you like this video, consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. And if you want to support us further, channel memberships are available by hitting the join button right down below. And again, and as always, thanks so much for watching and we'll see you in our next video. Take care, everybody.